welcome to another edition of Speed Dating My TBR. This is the second episode of where I go through that TBR mountain over there and pick a few books and read them. I will read either the prologue, first chapter, or first 10 pages, whichever is the shortest, and decide if I'm going to be putting it back on my TBR or if it will be going to a new home. So, I really enjoyed doing the first one. Video to that you can find here on my channel. And so this is going to be episode 2. I will show you the 5 books that I will be previewing in this video. And first we have Annie Clark's Girls on the Home Front, Jenny Lucas's The Baby the Billionaire Demands. It's a Harlequin Presents. And the hero looks a little bit like Tom Ellis, Lucifer, from the TV show Lucifer. We're going to try another Lora Leigh, which did not work for us last time, but we're giving her another shot because she, from what I remember, writes very sexy times. And this is Heat Seeker. And Elise Larson's For Such a Time. So, let us begin with Annie Clark's Girls on the Home Front, and I will read the back blurb and the first line for you. Back blurb. August 1941. As war sweeps across Britain and millions of men enlist to serve their country, it's up to the women to fight the battle on the home front. Fran always thought she would marry her childhood sweetheart and lead a simple life in Massingham, the beloved pit village she has always called home. But with war taking so many men to the front line, the opening of a new factory in the northeast of England presents an opportunity for Fran to forge a new path. Against her father's wishes and with best friends Sarah and Beth by her side, Fran signs up to join the ranks of women at the factory. It's dangerous work, but as the 3 friends risk everything, they will discover that their lives are only just beginning. So, the first line reads, The bus rattled their bones and teeth, or so thought Fran, but her stomach was rattling enough, with nerves anyway, as they headed for the ordnance factory, which was so secret that it must have no name and never be talked about. Let's have a look through. Okay, so Fran is living with her parents, and her mom sadly was pregnant, and the baby died, and it only lived like a few minutes. And there's a line that is like some dark, but it makes me kind of like, I can relate, considering like how the world is now. the dad's talking about how the baby died, and like a few minutes just after it was born. Who can blame the poor wee lass? We're a world at war, and I reckon she took one look and said, "What's the bloody point?" I just, it's like dark humor, but yeah. So the mom, I guess, is like not, after like the loss of her baby, she's like not doing well herself. Like her health is suffering, and she used to work in an office, and so Fran goes to the office and asks, like, is, you know, like after a while she's like, I need something else. I need, like, this isn't enough. And asks, is there anything else? And then she hears about this place called the Factory. Nobody knows what it is. And so she and her two friends go and like sign up. And y'all, it's a weapons factory. They're over there making bombs and like guns and like all this shit. And the woman who gives them their like introductory speech, like of like all the like the orientation speech, she doesn't have a hand. So she's like, don't do what I did. Listen to what I'm telling you. You know, if you make a mistake, exhibit A, right here. Or it could be even worse. And she's like, you don't tell anybody what you're doing. You don't tell anybody in this outside of this factory what you're doing here, what you're working on, all that stuff. And if you do, you could be arrested. So, okay, I'm in. We're going to be continuing with Girls on the Home Front. So, we'll see how that goes. Where does it start? Yeah. So, the prologue starts in August, and the first chapter, they've been there a month, and it picks up in September. So, that's whoosh. Yeah. Definitely putting that one back. The next one is Jenny Lucas's The Baby the Billionaire Demands, and it's a Harlequin Presents. And let's read the back blurb here. Lola Price didn't dare tell Rodrigo Cabrera she was pregnant after he spurned her. But now that he's discovered her secret, he's determined his child will take his name. While their mutual desire in the marriage bed is undeniable, Rodrigo keeps himself at a distance, yet fiery Lola won't be pushed away again. She'll show Rodrigo that their son and their relationship are worth fighting for. So let's read the first line. Money meant everything to Lola Price. Drink some water. don't know how, but somehow she met Rodrigo, and We don't know why, but for some reason, they were together for a while, and then for some reason, he gave her a, was it $1 million check? A $1 million check, and kicked her out. Not knowing, of course, that she was preggers. So, where the story picks up, she's at this ball with her ex-boss, Sergey, who clearly has feelings for her, and, but she is, brokenhearted and damaged and can never love again. But he, even, offers to marry her, and she's trying to turn him down when a certain somebody shows up and wants to cut in on the dance, and it's Rodrigo. So, I'm curious as to, why he tossed her out. I'm sure it was some ridiculous misunderstanding, as is the tradition of Harlequin Presents. And I'm sure that he will be cold to her, but only to hide how much he actually loves her and wants her back. So yeah, I'm interested in continuing. So we're putting this one back on the pile. Next, we got Lora Leigh, who did not work for us last time, but we shall give her another shot because she writes sexy, sexy times. And that's Lora Leigh Heatseeker, and there we are. So let's read the back blurb. John Vincent has always led a life of danger, and now he has every reason to want to remain as dead as the obituary in the Australian papers had proclaimed him to be. He'd left nothing behind in the life he'd once led, except for one woman and one night of unforgettable passion. Now both will return to haunt him. Bailey Serborn. Bailey makes me think of Party 5. I don't think of Bailey as a girl's name. I think of it as Bailey Salinger, portrayed by Scott Wolf on Party 5. Is still tormented by a past she can't change, and a man she hasn't been able to forget. A man who was supposed to be dead. But now, a stroke of fate has revealed that sometimes a woman is given a second chance to heal her heart and exact the sweetest revenge. So let's check out the first line. Brisbane, Australia. Light crashed and thunder boomed. And that's the first line. We are starting right off with a bang. Literally, they're having the sex in the prologue. But either the hero's name, the person she's having sex with, his name is Trent. So either when this John Vincent dude is either Trent is his real name, and then when he dies, he takes on the name John Vincent, or John Vincent is his real name, and he was using an alias when he met her. The alias of Trent. Okay. So that was confusing. So Bailey and this John Vincent guy are agents, and they start right off and they're having the sex, and then he goes to go do something. He gets out and goes outside, and an explosion goes off. And then we get the next sort of scene starts out with a guy named John Vincent coming outside from somewhere, and there's a guy standing by Trent's car who's like all like agitated, and comes up to John Vincent and is like, they know who you are, and blah blah blah, and like, you know, we're in trouble, or they've all this stuff. And then there's an explosion, and then like John Vincent is clearly injured, and then there's this like confusion as like he sees Bailey but he can't like get to her, I guess because he's injured, and whoever the guy was that was like talking to him is like trying to like get him away from her, Bailey, and is like, we need to go like now, and like don't worry about her, they'll take care of her, and blah blah. So they take John Vincent or Trent or whoever away, and then Bailey is being held somewhere. This is like, I think like a year or so later. She's being held somewhere, and a guy comes in, apparently John Vincent, and he is like talking to her, and like she knows that he's not who he's pretending to be. She knows that he's not like an arms dealer or what have you, that he's not a criminal. She's pretty sure that he's an agent, like she is. But it's really like confusing as to like you don't get like confirmation that he is Trent or he isn't Trent. Like, I would have liked some like definite like confirmation in the beginning that yes, now he had to go under the name John Vincent, or that like he was in hiding now and had to go under the name John Vincent. But that's not like really specified, so there's a bit of like confusion for me, and I'm like, okay. And then like she sees like a little bit of him. I think she's like blindfolded or something, but she can see like, I think like his hands, and his hands look like that they've been like, that his hands are scarred, like maybe like they've been in a fire or something. And for a second she entertains the idea, because like there's something about him, like when I think they let her go, and she looks at the guy, and there's something about him that like makes her think for a second that it could be Trent, but then she like quickly disregards that and is like, oh, like no, it's just like me wishful thinking or what have you. And I'm like, wouldn't she recognize his voice? And I guess like, okay, it specifies that like the guy who's like talking to her doesn't have an Australian accent, so either like the initial Australian accent was fake, or he's lost the Australian accent on purpose now for purposes of hiding. But I don't know. This seems like it sounds too confusing. It sounds like it'd be like too confusing with the Trent and John, like, no, like and like I've gone back to see like if it specifies, if there's like a line where he confirms like that, oh, he was now going under the name of John Vincent or something, and like it doesn't. So it's like, Lora Leigh, you're just not working for me. So no, I don't think you should have to work this hard to figure out a romance novel. I can understand it if it was like a piece of like classic literature or something like that, but no, like the beginning just confused me. So I'm sorry, Lora Leigh. Again, we're not doing it. We're not doing it. And I don't know, like starting off with like the sex scene or whatever, like it didn't work for me. Like it was explicit and it was hella graphic, and that's usually I'm fine with that. But once I've like gotten to like know the characters and like care about the characters, I don't know, like maybe like I'm getting older or what, I don't know, but it just like she talks about like how she's been working for him and like was always like so hot for him that she had to change her panties like 3 times a day, like 3 or 4 times a day or multiple times a day, and how there's all like juices. I'm sorry, juices is not a sexy word. Juices is not a sexy word. Creaming is not a sexy word. No, that just it didn't work for me. I just think Lora Leigh's writing style just no longer works for me, and that makes me sad. Next we have Elise Larson's For Such a Time, and it's a historical set in World War II, so we're going to read the back blurb. Giselle Meunier and Jean Thornton are more like sisters than cousins, having spent many summers together while Giselle's French father taught at an American university. But with the outbreak of World War II, both women's lives take a dramatic turn. Jean joins the American Red Cross and is assigned to a sprawling military hospital in Wales. But Giselle, active in the French resistance, has been betrayed and arrested by the Nazis. Though underground compatriots are able to rescue and hide her, Giselle remains in grave danger because she knows the identity of other resistance leaders. Jean is determined to try smuggling Giselle to freedom, and no matter how ill-advised the idea seems, the Allies prepare to invade. No matter how ill-advised the idea seems. The Allies prepare to invade Europe while she makes intricate plans for a parachute jump into occupied France. But for such a plan to succeed, both women will need to summon strength and courage far beyond their own resources. Let's check out the first line. December 1943, Lyon, France. As Giselle Meunier led her daughters across the city streets, she positioned herself between Jacqueline and the 2 Nazi soldiers they would soon pass on the corner. So let's start here. So I'm liking it so far. And we start off with the heroine, Giselle, and she has 2 daughters, and they're walking with, I believe, her husband, Claude, and they're just walking down the street, and they come upon, like, the Nazis are on their patrols and everything, and then she's trying to, like, not look at them and just sort of, like, go on her way and just keep their eyes sort of, like, off her daughters. And she's talking about how that's sort of getting harder to do as the daughters are getting older and they're getting prettier, and so she and her husband decide that they're going to send the daughters to live, I guess, on, like, some kind of farm in hiding with their aunt. And she's talking, like, she's telling the daughters this, that the husband has gone to do something, and then as the chapter ends, the husband is being brought back by a friend, and the husband has been shot. So, and let me just say that they talk about at the end of the chapter how, like, they are part of the resistance, and they're using, like, different names, and they clarify. Unlike Heatseeker by Lora Leigh, they make it very clear, like, when they call each other this name or that name, they make it, like, very clear that, even weak and in pain, Claude remembered to use her resistance name, because he called her Julie, even though her name was Giselle. So, like, I wanted that clarity in the Heatseeker by Lora Leigh, and I didn't get it, and I was confused. This one, I'm not confused, and yeah, I like it so far. And we're going to be putting it back. So that is going to be it for this week's video. Again, we have 3 going back. We have Girls on the Home Front, a World War II. The Baby the Billionaire Demands, a Harlequin Presents, and For Such a Time by Elise Larson, another World War II. And we are going to be sending, unfortunately, just like in the first episode, a Lora Leigh is going off to find a new home. So, that's going to be it for this week's video. Hope you enjoyed, and follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/authorejamie. Like my Facebook page at facebook.com/authorejamie, and I will talk to you guys next time.